Hello everyone, this is the second video of immunology lecture series. Here we will discuss about the cells of the myeloid lineage which we had discussed in the hematopoiesis part in our previous video. These cells of the myeloid lineage, these are the cells of innate immunity, that is the first line of defense against any invading pathogen. Before going to the topic proper, let's revise the hematopoiesis part again. Now these are the hematopoietic stem cells, give rise to cells of myeloid progenitor and lymphoid progenitor. The myeloid, all the cells arising from myeloid progenitor cells are the cells of or they play a role in innate immunity. The cells of lymphoid progenitor, they play a role in acquired immunity. We will discuss that in another video. So the myeloid progenitor cells give rise to dendritic cells, give rise to GM progenitor, which give rise to granulocyte monocyte progenitor, which give rise to granulocyte, that is neutrophil and monocytes. Eosinophil progenitor give rise to eosinophil, basophil progenitor basophil, megakaryocyte platelets. Erythroid progenitor give rise to RBCs. Mast cell directly originate as undifferentiated cell. We will discuss it here in this video. Now among all these cells, the dendritic cells, monocytes, macrophages, these are the phagocytic cells, these are the granulocytes, and these are the anucleated cells. All of these cells, they play a role in innate immunity. How, we will discuss now. One thing to note here, that the dendritic cells, they arise both from myeloid progenitor as well as lymphoid progenitor. So they play a role both in innate immunity and acquired immunity. Now coming to the cells of the myeloid lineage, that is the first line of defense. So the myeloid progenitor cells give rise to three types of phagocytic cells: monocytes, macrophages and dendritic cells. These cells are called the professional antigen presenting cells, or in short form we can call them as PAPC. From now onwards we will denote it as PAPC and not the full term. Okay, the PAPC, they form an important bridge between the innate and adaptive immune response. How? The PAPC, they, after coming in contact with the pathogen, they get activated and they display the peptides from the pathogen to the T lymphocytes in lymph node. How they display the peptides? First they engulf the pathogen, then they convert the peptides or digest the the protein into peptides and present it over their surface, which can be it can be recognized by the T cells in the lymph node. And important point to note here is that they are able to present the peptides to the T lymphocytes due to the presence of MHC class II molecules over their surface. Because all the cells have the capacity to present peptides from their internal proteins using class I molecule, that is class I MHC molecule, but only PAPC have the ability to present peptides of any external source using the MHC class II molecules. Okay, because the MHC class II molecules can only be recognized by the T lymphocytes, which helps in the initiation of adaptive immune response. What is class 1 and class 2? MHC is major histocompatibility complex. So what are these? We will discuss later on. Now the PAPC exhibit three major activity on encounter with any pathogen. What they do? They secrete the proteins that attract and activate other immune cells. They phagocytose the pathogens and convert their proteins into peptides and present their peptides on the surface by MHC class II molecules, which can be recognized by the T lymphocytes in the lymph nodes. And they also upregulate co-stimulatory molecules required for activation of T helper cells. What are these co-stimulatory molecules? We will discuss. So there are, because it is a lecture series, therefore few of the terminologies which we are coming across here, we will discuss in detail in other videos. Now first phagocytic cell, that is the monocyte. One thing to note, that we are not going to discuss about their total percentage and why they are called monocytes, their nucleus, their staining property, and the various other things which we usually read in physiology. We will not discuss. We will discuss only the part related to immune system. Now they constitute 2 to 12% of the WBC count. What they do is they migrate into the tissues and differentiate into a diverse group of tissue resident phagocytic cells. What are tissue resident phagocytic cells? In further we will discuss. Now these monocytes are of two types. One is inflammatory monocyte, another one is patrolling monocytes. The inflammatory monocytes, they are quick in their response. They enter the tissue quickly in response to any infection. And patrolling monocytes, they are quite slow. They move along the blood vessels and help in their repair if there is any damage to the blood vessels. And the monocytes migrate to the tissues and they differentiate into macrophages. Now the macrophages, these are the most potent phagocytic cells. They are the PAPC for the T lymphocytes, that is professional antigen presenting cells. And the macrophages can be found in all tissues and have two major origins. This is important to note here. They have two different origins. Some differentiate from the circulating monocytes and continue to circulate among the tissues, and some others, they are known as tissue specific macrophages. They originate from the embryonic cells and they do not circulate, and they are specific to that particular tissue. And in addition to the macrophage or in addition to the phagocytic function, they have their tissue specific functions. And just for example, few examples I have mentioned here, like in brain, these tissue specific macrophages are known as microglia cells. So in brain, what the other function they do is they help in neural circuit development. In lungs, they are known as alveolar macrophages. There they help to remove the pollutants, microbes, and they also helps to clear the surfactants. In liver, they are known as Kupffer cells, where they scavenge the RBCs and clear them. Then in skin, they are known as Langerhans cells. Spleen, they are known as red pulp macrophages. Bone marrow macrophage. Heart, cardiac macrophage. Kidney, resident kidney macrophage. Lymph node, subcapsular sinus macrophages. So these names usually are asked in MCQs. Lung macrophage is known as, because they have typical name, Kupffer cells, Langerhans cells. So these are asked in MCQs. Now coming to another type of phagocytic cells, that are dendritic cells. So the scientist Ralph Steadman was awarded Nobel Prize in 2011 for the discovery of dendritic cells. They are so named due to the presence of long membranous extensions of their membrane which resembles the dendrites of the nerve cells, and this process helps to increase the surface area of the cells. They arise both from myeloid and lymphoid lineage, as we had discussed in hematopoiesis of our previous video. Their function is they look for the sign of invasion by the pathogen, then they capture them and migrate to the lymph nodes and do antigen presentation to the lymph T cells, which helps in the initiation of adaptive immune response. Now another term is follicular dendritic cells. These cells, though the name is similar to the dendritic cells, but they are not dendritic cell proper. Because they do not arise from hematopoietic stem cells and they are functionally distinct from the dendritic cells. They are called as dendritic cells due to the presence of similar long cytoplasmic extensions similar to the dendritic cells, and they are present in the follicles in secondary lymphoid tissues which are rich in B cells. These are not PAPC, that is professional antigen presenting cells, and hence they do not activate the naive T cells. Their function is regulation of the activation of the B cells. All these things will be covered in further videos, how they helps in the activation of B cells. Now coming to anucleated cells, that is erythrocytes. We know that erythroid progenitors, they give rise to RBCs, and the major function of RBC is gaseous exchange in our body, but the damaged RBCs also helps in innate immunity because they release few signals which induce the innate immune activity, and they also express surface receptors for antibodies and helps to bind the antigen-antibody complex which can be engulfed by the macrophages. Besides, they also generate nitric oxide, and nitric oxide, as we know, this is the very potent antimicrobial agent which can helps to directly damage the any microbe. Now coming to megakaryocytes, they give rise to platelets. Their major function is to prevent blood loss, but they also forms a barrier at the site of breach in epithelium, and thus that barrier, it prevents the invasion of pathogens. So in this way, these megakaryocytes also play a role in the innate immune response against any invading pathogens. Now coming to granulocytes, 3 granulocytes are there: neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil. Now in response to many infection, what happens? The innate immune response, it generates some inflammatory chemokines which promote the development of neutrophils in the bone marrow, and the number of neutrophils in our body increase. The condition is known as leukocytosis, and it is an indication of infection. As we have seen in our CBC report or complete blood count report, the increase in neutrophil count is an indication of infection. Now it contains, in their granules, they contains various protease, histamine, antimicrobial proteins and protease inhibitors. The protease examples are elastase, collagenase, histamine, antimicrobial proteins like lysozyme, defensin, and protease inhibitor like alpha-1 antitrypsin. Now eosinophil, they are important in defense against multicellular parasites. For example, helminthic infections. How they act against them? They invade the worm and damage their membrane by releasing the content of their granules. And they also secrete cytokines which regulate B and T lymphocytes, and thus helps in activation of adaptive immune response. They contain cytokines, their granules contain cytokines like interleukin 4, 10, TNF alpha, that is tumor necrosis factor alpha, chemokines like rentis, MIP1 alpha and ribonuclease. Now basophils, these are the non-phagocytic granules. They also play a role in response to helminthic infection. On binding to the antigen antibody complex, they release the content of their granules. For example, histamine, which is present in their granules, which increase the vascular permeability, increase the smooth muscle activity. All these changes, it causes causes excess of immune cells to the site of infection. Thus they helps in innate immunity, and they release the cytokines which recruit other immune cells at the site of infection. So in this way, basophils act against the invading pathogen. Now coming to the mast cells, they play a role against parasitic infection. They are released from the bone marrow as undifferentiated cells, and they mature when they enter the tissues from the blood. And then both basophil and mast cells contain cytokines like IL4, IL13, lipid mediators like leukotrienes and histamines. So this is all about the cells of the innate immune system. And next video we will discuss about the cells of the lymphoid lineage, that is cells of